The Premier League has been home to some of football's greatest legends, but not every icon gets the recognition they deserve. Today, we're looking at 8 forgotten Premier League legends, players who lit up the league but don't always get the credit they should. Let's dive in with the Belgian player who made Tottenham a fun team to watch, Mousa Dembélé, who might be one of the most underrated midfielders of his generation. A press-resistant, ball-carrying machine who dominated midfield for Spurs. His combination of strength, agility, and technical skill made him nearly impossible to dispossess, and he was the silent architect behind many of Tottenham's best performances under Pochettino. Top players and managers recognized his brilliance. Kevin De Bruyne called him the best at keeping possession under pressure, while Pochettino compared him to Xavi and Iniesta, saying he would be regarded as an all-time great if he had played in Spain or Italy. His lack of flashy stats and recurring injuries meant he never got the recognition he deserved, but those who watched him closely know just how special he was. If you know, you know. Let's not forget the player who made Australian footballers truly respected in the Premier League, Tim Cahill. A legend at Everton, Cahill was the club's ultimate big-game player, delivering in crucial moments and becoming the face of Everton during what was probably their best period of the 21st century. Standing at just 1.78 meters, you wouldn't expect him to be one of the greatest aerial threats in Premier League history, but his leap was incredible. Time and time again, Cahill would rise above much taller defenders to score towering headers, often in the dying moments of games. His knack for clutch goals helped Everton punch above their weight, securing multiple top-6 finishes and European football. Cahill's influence went beyond Everton. He was a trailblazer for Australian footballers, proving that players from down under could thrive in one of the world's toughest leagues. Yet, when people discuss the great midfielders of the 2000s, his name is rarely mentioned. Everton fans will never forget, but many others already have. And to his name, we must add another Australian legend, this time from Leeds, Mark Viduka. While Tim Cahill ruled the air, Viduka dominated the ground, combining power, technical skill, and lethal finishing to become one of the most complete strikers of his era. Viduka was the starman of Leeds United's golden era in the early 2000s, playing a key role in their legendary Champions League run. His finest hour came in November 2000, when he put on a masterclass against Liverpool, scoring all 4 goals in a stunning 4-3 victory. His ability to hold up play, dribble past defenders, and finish with both feet made him a nightmare for Premier League defenses. Even after Leeds' decline, Viduka continued to impress, leading the line for Middlesbrough and helping them reach the 2006 UEFA Cup final. At Newcastle, injuries slowed him down, but he still produced moments of brilliance. Despite his achievements, Viduka's quiet personality and Leeds' fall from grace meant his legacy faded over time. He never sought the limelight, and as a result, many fans have forgotten just how dominant he was in his prime. But for those who watched him play, Viduka remains one of the most underrated strikers the Premier League has ever seen. But one of the true gems of the Premier League who brought magic to the pitch at Bolton was Jay-Jay Okocha. In fact, he was so good, they named him twice. The Nigerian playmaker was an artist with the ball, dazzling fans and humiliating defenders with his tricks, step-overs, and outrageous skills. He didn't just play football, he performed. Whether it was a backheel pass, an audacious lob, or a mind-boggling dribble, Okocha always found a way to entertain. When he arrived at Bolton Wanderers in 2002, many thought his best years were behind him, but under Sam Allardyce, he became the heartbeat of a Bolton side that punched well above its weight, challenging the league's elite, and even qualifying for European football. His leadership as captain helped guide the team to the 2004 League Cup final, proving he wasn't just about flair, he had substance too. Yet, because he never played for a traditional Big Six club, his legacy is often overlooked outside of Bolton. But for those who saw him in action, Okocha was one of the most gifted players ever to grace the Premier League, a true magician who made football look effortless. Another player who was a true artist on the pitches of the Premier League but is often overlooked is Belarus's greatest footballer of all time, Alexander Hleb. When Arsene Wenger signed Hleb from Stuttgart in 2005, few knew what to expect, but over the next 3 seasons, he became a crucial part of Arsenal's attack, dazzling fans with his flawless dribbling, vision, and movement. Hleb wasn't a typical winger. He thrived in tight spaces, effortlessly gliding past defenders with his close control and quick turns. His link-up play with Thierry Henry, Cesc Fabregas, and Robin van Persie helped Arsenal transition into a fluid, possession-based team. By the 2007-08 season, he had taken his game to another level, playing a key role in Arsenal's title challenge. His chemistry with Fabregas and Adebayor was electric, and his ability to carry the ball forward under pressure made him one of Wenger's most trusted players. However, after a stellar season, Hleb made the controversial decision to leave for Barcelona in 2008, a move he later regretted. Arsene Wenger himself admitted that losing Hleb was a mistake, as his unique dribbling ability and composure in tight spaces were irreplaceable. Though his name rarely comes up in discussions about Arsenal's greats, those who watched him know just how gifted he was. Hleb was a ball-carrying magician, a player who
who made football look effortless and was a key part of Arsenal's most entertaining era.
The same could be said about Georgian footballing genius, Georgi Kinkladze. Before Manchester City became a superpower, they had Kinkladze, a player so mesmerizing with the ball that he could dribble past an entire defense with ease. Arriving from Dinamo Tbilisi in 1995, he quickly became City's main attraction, dazzling fans with his balance, close control, and incredible agility. His solo goal against Southampton in 1996, where he weaved past multiple defenders before chipping the goalkeeper, remains one of the greatest individual goals in Premier League history. Kinkladze was a player who could create magic out of nothing, effortlessly gliding through tackles and making football look like an art form. But while his talent was undeniable, he played in a struggling City side, and despite his best efforts, they were relegated at the end of the 1995-96 season. Instead of moving to a top club, he stayed with City, playing in the second tier for 2 more seasons before eventually leaving for Ajax. Despite being one of the most naturally gifted dribblers the Premier League has ever seen, Kinkladze's name is often forgotten. But for those who watched him in his prime, he was pure magic, a player who made fans believe that anything was possible with the ball at his feet. One more iconic Nigerian on this list is Yakubu Aiyegbeni. The Yak never missed. Well, almost never. A deadly poacher with a killer instinct, Yakubu scored 95 Premier League goals, more than Cristiano Ronaldo, Eric Cantona, or Dennis Bergkamp. Yet he's rarely mentioned among the league's great strikers. From keeping Portsmouth in the top flight to leading Middlesbrough to their first ever European final, he consistently delivered. At Everton, he hit 15 league goals in a season, and at Blackburn, he even bagged 4 in one game against Swansea. Yakubu wasn't flashy, no dazzling footwork or long-range screamers, but give him a chance in the box, and he'd bury it. Because he never played for a Big Six club, his legacy is often overlooked. But if we're talking about pure goal scorers, few were as consistent as Yakubu. Underrated? Absolutely. Lastly, but certainly not least, we have James Beattie, a striker who, for a brief period, was one of the Premier League's deadliest finishers. In the 2002-03 season, Beattie was unstoppable, scoring 23 league goals and firing Southampton to a top-half finish. At one point, he was neck and neck with the likes of Thierry Henry and Ruud van Nistelrooy in the Golden Boot race, a remarkable feat for a player outside the league's elite clubs. His powerful shots, aerial dominance, and ability to score from all angles made him a nightmare for defenders. This form earned him a big move to Everton, but unfortunately, he never quite hit the same heights at Goodison Park. While he still had his moments, injuries and inconsistency meant he struggled to replicate his Southampton heroics. Today, when people talk about great Premier League strikers of the 2000s, Beattie's name is rarely mentioned, but for one magical season, he was right up there with the very best, a forgotten star who deserves some recognition. But let me know in the comments, who, in your opinion, is a truly and undeservedly forgotten Premier League legend that should be remembered? In the meantime, thanks for watching. I highly recommend checking out some of my other videos, such as 8 young footballers to keep an eye on in 2025, and Chelsea Academy rejects who made it big, as shown on your screen. My name is Ole. Love this game. See you next time.